Hey guys, so let's start off this plan with me with a little flip through of February. If you saw my February video, most of this is familiar to you. If you haven't seen it, I will link it up above. But here I have all my social media, and here is my page of Mot du Jour, which I horribly failed at. But hey, learning what works for you is the way bullet journals function. And here are all my weekly spreads. I did not really like my week 5. It was an experiment and I did not enjoy how it turned out. But hey, it's okay. But that was my February spread, and this month is March, so I decided to do a little bit more of a spring theme. I wanted to test out my watercolors in my bullet journal, and so I am using them to make this kind of wreath design. They actually worked really well. There was no bleed through, and I was able to use the other side of the page with no problem. There actually was very minimal ghosting, and I'm kind of proud of that. This is the Leuchtturm, by the way, if you are curious. And the paints I use are the Koi watercolors. The pen I use came with the set, but it's just one of those water brush pens that have the water in it already. But I just did these little flowers with kind of some pinky red colors, and I added in some very simple, what are they called? They're not cattails, they're wheat, like very simple wheat kind of designs, and then obviously some green leaves. And then I just kind of outlined the rest of the wreath with brown, which you'll see in a minute now after I finish all this. Like I said, I didn't have any issues with the watercolor, and once I finished the wreath, I actually went in with my Signo .38 pen and just outlined it. I didn't get that on camera, but it's kind of obvious what I did. I just outlined what I already drew, and it didn't bleed through, it didn't do anything. It was really nice. Okay, so here it is already filled in with the black, and I took my Tombow dual brush pen and wrote March with it, and not really any fancy coloring. The next page is my calendar. I went a more traditional route actually and did the box calendar, but before I even started doing this, I put down a sticker from Pies and Prose shop, and that's all of her stickers, which I used even in these spreads back here in February. They were really cute, and they're some of my favorites. You can actually get them in her shop now for a discount if you use Pastel 10 at your checkout, and you'll get 10% off of all your orders. Her shop is amazing. I've mentioned it before, but she just recently started selling these stickers, and they're some of my favorites. Stickers are such an easy, almost lazy way to decorate any page in your bullet journal, so I'm incorporating them in a few of my spreads. But again, I used watercolor at the top of this page like I did the last page, and just did a few more of that kind of floral wreath design, except for I didn't make it a wreath, I just kind of made it branches. And included some flowers and some of those wheat. Again, I said I went a different route. I don't normally do this kind of traditional box one-page calendar, but this month I think I needed it. I have a lot of projects, I have a lot of events in March, and I decided that I wanted a lot more room to plan out things. So that's why I did this. Again, I freehanded it. Hey, there's no time for rulers in this house, okay? We're just gonna wing it. That's how I went anyway. It didn't turn out bad, so, you know, just follow the dots and you can probably do okay, but if you want it to be a lot more structured, I would suggest a ruler. Again, just doing all those lines, and then with the painting, I again thought that the little sticker at the bottom would just add a little nice design, and continue on with like a little brown theme, but also add kind of more of a pop at the bottom. I didn't really want to draw anything there. I might add a list to the side of goals or like tasks I need to do, but right now I'm leaving it blank. went in with that same pen and just outlined all of the flowers. I actually started this a little bit too early and the pen bled into it, and also you can see there I messed up and smudged the paint. But it's okay, it's the little mistakes that I'm just gonna ignore. You don't really even notice them unless you're looking for them. It's kind of my lesson with bullet journaling is if you make a mistake, either incorporate it in or just leave it. If it's really bad, you can cover it up, but honestly, the whole point of bullet journaling is allowing yourself to be creative and free, and I think part of that is making a mess and doing mistakes, because there's no way to be creative without somehow failing in some part of it. So take that as a little lesson, I guess, if you want to, but don't worry about your bullet journal ever looking perfect or absolutely pretty. As long as it functions for you and as long as it's something you want to look at, that's what matters. So I'm actually moving on to my weekly spread now. I don't really use my trackers or anything, so I decided not to even try this month and just go straight in. These pictures I got off Pinterest, which I have a board for, by the way, and I'm using my Super Tips marker for all the coloring. One of the pictures is just a little quote, and then the other one is a taco picture from the Adventure Zone, because of course. And then I tried to get away from the pink theme, but it found its way back to me, of course. I tried to add a bit more of a peachy element, but some of the pictures weren't as peachy as I wanted. But again, it's whatever. I also stuck to the same layout I used last month, where I wrote in my gold gel pen the days, and next to it I wrote the date, and then just underneath I have room to make a list for each day. I think that works best for me. I also combine the weekends because I tend to just overlap all of my tasks on those 2 days, and I don't need to define what day is which except for like special occasions, which I'll probably just write down Saturday and then what's next to it. But this is a really great plan if you need to make lists for each day. It's also really good when you're in school because I have a lot of assignments that I need to remember when they're due and when to start them. But it's such a simple way and I just love it. I also added a little donut flower sticker from Pies and Prose. It's one of my favorite stickers because it is absolutely adorable. But here's the final flip through. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you next time.